Vaughan was on his way back to Chicago when the helicopter hit a man-made ski hill, apparently because of heavy fall conditions. The other victims were identified as the pilot and 3 members of Eric Clapton's entourage.
Unless you're a rock and roll enthusiast, you may not have known very much about Stevie Ray Vaughan, but his fans and his awards are numerous. Frank Billingsley profiles this Texan, who some say was responsible for the blues renaissance of the past few years.
Stevie Ray Vaughan, 2-time Grammy Award winner, and this year named Musician of the Decade at the South by Southwest Music and Media Conference, brought to blues music a combination of Jimi Hendrix and the best of the blues masters.
We here at in the music business are really going to miss him sorely, because he was probably one of the best performers and best things to come out of Texas in a long time.
And it's just a terrible loss for music. Stevie opened a lot of doors for people in the blues field. I think
Stevie and his brother Jimmy grew up in Dallas, and in their teens were playing the Austin clubs. Stevie Ray and his band Double Trouble were familiar faces at Fitzgerald's here in Houston all through the 80s, where they made many fans and many friends.
I love him so much, and he was the best. He was the best. Nobody touches him.
Looking back in front of me, the mirror is a grin. Through eyes of love I see, I'm really looking at a friend.
NITA Sue Rogers, hostess at Fitzgerald's, cooked many a meal for her friend Stevie Ray.
I just can't get over it. Just saw him backstage at the Cynthia Woods Pavilion for the Joe Cocker show, and he was great and fine, and the new album's going to be out in 2 weeks.
He never forgot all his friends on the way up, and I mean, he was always there, you know, after a show to talk to everybody. Anyone was welcome.
Local radio stations were deluged today with calls and fax messages.
I got a fax from a guy, in fact, just a little while ago, who said he had a chance to meet him in a music store, and Stevie Ray played guitar for the kids, played Mary Had a Little Lamb for all the kids that were hanging out in the store. And it was just a genuinely nice person.
A person who had come back from alcohol and drug abuse, whose future seemed limitless.
You see, I'm here on borrowed time these days, you know. I got a second chance on something, and I'm going to try to do my best with it, you understand?
Stevie Ray Vaughan, dead at 35.
Well, among all of those Houstonians who followed the career of Stevie Ray Vaughan is the music critic with the Houston Post, CLAUDIA Perry.
Claudia, tell us, it seemed like Stevie Ray Vaughan brought this Texas Roadhouse blues really to the forefront of the music world. Tell us about some of his other accomplishments, can you?
Well, very simply, I mean, he was just a guitar shaman. I mean, he was a person that's just unbelievable to hear and an unbelievably kind man. It's also worth noting that besides the 2 Grammys, and the fact he had a platinum album in '84, he was retired to the Guitar Player magazine's Hall of the Greats because he had won their Best Electric Blues Guitar Player category for like 6 years running. And in '89 they retired him because there was just no point in anybody putting him up again, because we knew everybody was going to vote for him again.
Isn't that the truth? You talked about the fact that he was really singular, but he certainly helped open the doors for a whole lot of other Texas musicians out there. Can we count on seeing this tradition continue, do you think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Stevie in some ways falls in the middle of the tradition, but he was obviously just its best known popularizer. He's clearly a great guitarist, but I mean, there are guitar players coming up in Texas now that owe a lot to him, and I'm sure may, you know, given the right combination of luck and circumstances, surpass him. As it stands right now, I think we're in a position where this is an even greater loss, because with his recent recovery and everything, we all, I think, were aware that his best music was ahead of him.
That's true. Well, we'll never know now, but do you think this sound that he developed, will that be preserved? Do you see other artists coming along?
Oh yeah, you can see it now, and as he was quick to point out whenever you would ask him about it, he didn't really think he was doing anything particularly unique. He just felt that, you know, he was a vessel for it, but he would also argue that his brother was equally as facile and was quick to promote the cause of all the guitar players that had come before him, from Jimi Hendrix to Buddy Guy on up.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for being with us.
He'll be long remembered.